Hello and welcome. This is round one of our weekly tournament here in Card Pro. On the right, we have me playing Green Blue Machina, and on the left, we have Gab playing Black Green Deck. So, to give you a breakdown on what the decks do, once per turn, Machina can send one cost accessories to Oblivion to draw a card and deal 2 damage to any contender or clash card. This can be used to help clear my opponent's board or deal burn damage to my opponent. The deck also runs a lot of removals on the stick, like Pestilence and Kagan, to help clear the board as well as deal damage. Gab's Black Green Death, on the other hand, is a more aggressive build using one cost clash cards to deal 1 damage early in the game and building a wide board if left unchecked. In the mid to the late game, he uses the two cuts death to deal 4 damage each time it's defeated. He can extend this by using his contender's awakening ability and returning uh, the two cost deaths that were already defeated when his health is 10 or less. To survive under the 10 health threshold, he also has Morak to serve as a emergency blocker, as well as search for his key pieces, and Decimation, which gives attacking clash cards -6/-6. So you can see here in turn 3, he's already aggroing me with his one cost death and Moxies. I tried to exchange by burning his contender, but by turn 3, I realized that I'm actually losing this trade and decided to actually remove some of his flash cards. So here in turn 3, I'm resourcing another blue and playing Targetless. So Targetless is actually a great card that came from Unrivaled Set 3. So on enter, target list puts a bounty counter on a clash card that I don't control, and every time a clash card that I don't control is defeated, I can choose one of three effects. So first one is to draw a card. Second one is to ready a resource, and third one diminish. So the most important effect here is to draw a card. So you can see me here using Machina's ability to send the Plague Forge scrap to Oblivion to deal 2 damage to the one cost death, and then drawing another card using target list. So sadly, during the early turn, I wasn't able to find Haven Bountiful Collector to ramp up my resource. So it's now Gab's turn. So he resources for his turn 3 and plays a Moxie preparing for battle. So that's a 1/1 that draws him a card upon entry. He sets two trap cards and then attacks with the Moxie. So since the Moxie is only a 1/1, it also dies. And then attacks with the death. So it's now my turn. I draw for turn and then resource green. So taps for 4 and plays Pestilence. So on enter, it gives -3/-3 to a clash card. So Gab here uses his contender's ability. When a death card is defeated, he can tap it to draw a card and give +1/+1 to a contender. So in response, I chug in one accessory to deal 2 damage to my opponent's contender, and then attack with my Pestilence, which is actually a bad move because he actually has a Morak in his accessory. So Morak's ability, counterattack. If the portal's open, he can pay one and then play it from the accessory zone. So aside from that, he can also search out a 3 cost or less non-Mora clash card from the deck. So Gab here searches for the Relentless and adds it to his hand. Gab decides to play Enter from Beyond. If the portal's open, he can reduce the cost of the card by discarding one card. So it discards Pestilence and then plays it from Oblivion using Enter from Beyond. So what the one cost Pestilence gives -2/-2 to my four cost Pestilence, effectively killing it. So it's now Gab's turn. He resources, all right, and plays the two cost death. So he now attacks my contender. I take two, and then trigger defeats. So he makes me lose. He okay, so he takes the two damage to draw a card, and he then activates his contender ability to give +1/+1 to the one cost pestilence, and then draw another card. So you can see how the deck actually maintains a lot of hand size. So I'm taking 5 damage here, three from the pestilence and two from the Morak. Gab sets another trap card, thinking what to resource here. So I decided to resource my four cost pestilence and tap for four to play Avenging Guy. No, it's actually the another pestilence to remove the Morak, and then play one cost pestilence to remove my the other pestilence. So I use Machina's ability to deal 2 damage to my opponent, and then since I'm already below 15, I can give +1/+1 to one of my clash cards. So I kind of hesitated during this turn because Gab has two traps here, and they could be another Morak, and I'm out of resources to actually close the portal to prevent it from popping for less. So this is actually a bad play for me since I was already low in health, so I could have just uh, dealt damage to catch up. It also wasted my contender's awakening ability, so I would need to send an accessory again. Anyway, so it's now Gab's turn. He resources and just passes turn. So he has a full set of resource, and I'm actually not really sure on what. Okay, so this is another misplay for me. So I just attacked directly without thinking of closing the portal. Gab actually has an opportunity here to play Straps or play Enter from Beyond to remove to bring back again the one cost pestilence. So aside from losing the, so if I had closed the portal before attacking, he couldn't have used Enter from Beyond. So this was actually a really bad play for me. So I tap for six and play Kagan to remove his one cost pestilence and attack for five. Another bad play because the portal was still open, so he could play Morak for one and also enter from beyond and to bring back the one cost pestilence to give my clash card minus two, reducing the amount of damage that I could deal. So from here, I think I just pass. So it's now Gab's turn. He resources, giving him seven resource. So he attacks with Marek for two, and I block with my four cost pestilence. So right now it's Gab's turn. Gab's action is thinking if he will clash buff. So it decides to play the Clash buff Restoration. So what it does, it gives a contender or Clash card +1/+1, and then Gab can choose to choose a one cost Clash card from either Oblivion and put it in the Clash zone. So he chooses Moxie, preparing for battle, and then draws a card. He pays two to play the two cost death, and then attacks my contender. So upon defeat, he makes me lose two health. So I draw a card, and then uses the contender to, since the two cost that was defeated, he uses the contender to give +1/+1 to pestilence and attacks for three. So I take three damage. I am now down for five, and it's actually looking really, really bad for me this game. So he decides to play another two costs death, and makes me take the two life, so to draw. So I'm now down to one. So even though that Gab only has one resource, I don't think that I can actually deal 17 damage, or um, at the very least survive. This is actually embarrassing because I thought I had 17 damage, but so the four cost pestilence here gets +1 attack for each card in my hand. So I during that turn I had seven, and Kagan was a 5/5, so I can did a backseat here. So I was very very off lethal. Yeah, I just scooped for game. So down to game two. So I actually sideboarded eight cards here. So I was very lucky to have them in my sideboard. So the first card was four Magnate's Plant. So it's a two cost trap, which does counterattack if the attacking clash card is cost two costs or less. It gets sent to Oblivion, and then my opponent discards a card. So this is very good for against the two cost death, because it won't get defeated, so I won't lose health, and also it minuses my opponent one card from hand. The second card that I sideboarded for this round two game is actually Gotcha. So Gotcha's a trap, a two cost trap that negates other traps. So this is very good against Mora, but more on decimation, which actually uh, destroys my attacking clash card. So I was pretty ready against this for this round two. So because I lost the previous round, I chose to go first. So we're actually just finishing our mulligan here. So I had a pretty good start. Decided to resource the Pestilence Blade Rigger and play down the uh, Play Forge Scrap. So on enter, it has the ability to activate the portal. So I kinda uh, misplayed last game by not activating the portal last game. So this is important because the one cost death that he just played right now also has a trigger defeat that if the portal is closed, uh, it returns to his hand, so he can play the card multiple times. So I actually had a good curve this round, being able to play Haven Bountiful Collector and then ramp up one resource. So decided to attack with it, dealing one damage to uh, his contender, and then use Machina's ability to throw down the Plate Force Scrap and deal two more damage to the depths. So to the one cost depth. So Gab activates contender ability to draw a card, and I pass turn. So I wasn't really scared of leaving the Bountiful Collector here because I knew he didn't have a Lin, uh, since he's only playing black and green. So I knew he couldn't steal out my Bountiful to ramp for himself. So he resources a green here, so that's a proxy, and plays the one cost pestilence to give -2/-2 to my bountiful collector, and so it's defeated. Trigger its defeat ability. So I grab back plate for scrap. He attacks with the pestilence, dealing me 2 damage, and passes the turn. So because I ramped with bountiful collector and I went first this round, I'm actually 2 resources ahead of him. So I resource a green, and then paying 1 blue, I play the Lin. So he diminishes 1 card. Actually a good hit. I actually hit a decimation. So and then I put a bounty counter on uh, his one cost death and played played for played for trap. Used the Machina ability to deal 2 damage and killing the clash card. So this will trigger Lin's end of turn ability. So for me to bring back a 2 cost or less clash card. So I attacked with Lin for 2 and played Whistler for accessory. So at the end of turn, bringing back the Bountiful so that I can grab another accessory to fuel Machina's contender ability. Gab plays another Pestilence here, shooting down my Bountiful. So I grab Blade Forge Crab again, and then he attacks my Lin, and then plays a Moxie to draw a card, sets down a trap. Then attacks with the Moxie, dealing me 1 damage. So I'm still pretty behind, but the tempo's actually in my favor since I'm actually 2 resources ahead. So when I bring down the heavy, he'll have a harder time trying to remove it. So this year, I decided to play Avenging Guy doing something. So its ability, trigger enter, it searches for its weapon, the Whistler. So the Whistler is a weapon. I can attach it by paying 1 green resource. If it's attached to Avenging Guy, it gives Avenging Guy +2/+2. It also has a ability where when the attached clash card attacks, I can choose my one of my opponent's clash cards, and at the start of their primary phase, that clash card attacks the clash card that where Whistler is attached. In this case, Avenging Guy. So since Gab didn't have anything on board when I attacked, I wasn't able to use the Whistler effect. So there's actually another misplay for me because the portal was open. That thing should be closed. Every time when you're attacking against black, so he's able to play Morak for 1 resource. Had the portal been closed, he wouldn't have been able to play it. So anyway, he searches for Death the Dreadful. decides to block with the Morak, so he wouldn't take the 5 damage. I decide to use Machina's ability to on the extra Whistler to deal 2 damage, and then pass turn. So he resources a Death's Door here, and then thinking on how he's gonna deal with the 5/5 uh, Avenger, avenging guy. So he decides to play Death the Dreadful, attacking my contender, and then chooses him for himself for the target for the defeat ability, losing 2 life to draw a card, and then using the contender ability to draw another card, and then passing turn. So he currently has 1 trap face down and 2 resources up. So I draw for turn and resource Whistler. I set a trap of my own, so I'm pretty sure this is gotcha. Just in case he plays that trap he has set. So I attack with Avenging Guy for 5/5. He taps for 1. It's actually Morak. And I actually pop the gotcha here, preventing him from entering and searching. And more importantly, blocking. I pay for 4, play Pestilence and Devious Servant. So it's trigger attack. If I have 3 or less cards in hand, I can draw a card, and it gets +1 attack for every card in my hand. So I think I had 4 cards during that turn, so it dealt 4. I passed it over to Gab. So currently thinking how he's going to deal with my two large flashcards. He plays another Death the Dreadful, and then attacks my contender for 2. He chooses himself to target for the defeat ability, losing 2 life to draw a card, and then using the contender ability to draw another card. And then he passes. So board's completely clear, or so I thought. So I resource target list here. Decide to pay 2 to close a portal. So I did something right. Paid 4 to play another Avenging Guy, searching for Whistler, and then paying 1 more to attach the Whistler to Avenging Guy. So in total, I had around more than 12 damage this turn. And because the portal's closed, he had no traps on the board. He actually has no way to stop this attack. And then we're off to game 3. So Gab decided to go first for route 3. So he resources and sets the trap. I'm 300% sure that's a sharpshooter. So black has a trap called Moxie Sharpshooter. So it's a counterplay when the opposing player plays a one cost or less, two costs or less clash card. He can activate Sharpshooter to set that clash card to Oblivion directly. So the trigger enter would not resolve. So he's probably setting that up to prepare for my Haven bounty to prevent me from ramping up. So he sets another trap and then plays Death Agent of the Dark to attack me for one. He passes turn. Decided to resource the gotcha since I don't need the card that early. I use Machina's ability to deal 2 damage and draw a card. Paying 2 to play Mayhem Maker. So its ability, trigger enter, give -1/-1 to a contender or clash card. So I chose the contender and then I attack. So I gave the contender -1 attack so that Mayhem Maker will live. Oh, and also I draw a card from Mayhem Maker. I pass it over to Gab. So he resource Pestilence here for green and then attacks Mayhem Maker with Agent of the Dark. Plays a Sharpshooter Moxie to draw a card and then attacks for what and then passes turn. So he resource target list here and then tried to play a Lin to bait out the Sharpshooter because I really wanted to ramp next turn. So first I played the Plague Scrap to close the portal, and then second, yeah, the Lin. So he actually plays the Sharpshooter here. Decided to use Machina's ability to throw the Plague Scrap to deal 2 damage. So he resources the Enter from Beyond, sets another trap, and then plays Death Dreadful to attack me for 2 damage. Well, first to open the portal, yeah, and deal 2 damage. He actually chooses himself for the target for the death, and then uses contender to give Ancient of the Dark +1/+1, and then the raw card. So I resource Plaguebringer here, and then tried to play Bountiful, uh, thinking that he didn't have another sharpshooter. Uh, Sadly, though, he does have another sharpshooter, so preventing me from ramping up. I decided to set a trap and pass for turn. So he attacked with his Agent of the Dark. I opted not to play my Magnate Trap since I'm more on saving that for Dreadful. Since he still had 4 resource open, so he could still definitely play the card. But as you can see from his hand, it doesn't seem like he had it. trying to figure out what to do here. So pay. I use a Machina's ability to deal two and draw a card. Paid four to play the Devious Servant. So currently, I think I had only two cards in hand. So, oh, three cards. But opted to pass my turn to prevent him from activating his trap cards while the portal is open. So what I'm trying to do here in the third game is actually setting up my board and then attacking, closing the portal, then attacking. Since that doesn't have any removals here, there's no risk of my pieces getting uh, removed from my field. So it attacks with the Moxie, deal my one damage, and it actually plays Endbringer here. So its ability at the start of uh, the opponent's turn, they have to send a clash card to Oblivion. And if the portals open during the start of their turn, they can actually revive a clash card that's three cost or less. If that clash card is a Harbinger, it actually gets plus two in necrotic. So it's very troublesome to leave on the board. Thankfully, though, I had the answer here. So it's very easy to remove since it's only a 4/5. So actually, there are actually multiple answers here. So I can either play a Kagan to send it directly to Oblivion, or play Plage Forge and then send a accessory to deal it five damage total. So unfortunately, I didn't have any of those answers and just prompted to play Avenging Guy doing something to find to search for a Whistler. And then I'm pretty sure I attached the Whistler to Avenging Guy to give it plus two. And then I attack Contender, triggering the Whistler's ability, forcing Endbringer to attack Avenging Guy. So he does not block, and he couldn't activate his traps because he doesn't have any resources ready. So I actually trapped him here. So he thought that if he blocked with Endbringer, uh, yeah. So I closed the portal with Bleach for Scrap. He decided to take this, the attack from Devious Servant, which is kind of sus since Endbringer would definitely die from attacking Avenging Guy at the start of his turn. All right, so it's now his turn. So since the portal's open, he won't be able to bring back any clash cards from Oblivion. So it's actually looking pretty good for me. He is now at a lower health than me, and he is gonna lose his Endbringer from attacking my Avenging Guy, unless he has a clash buff. So he decides to resource the Pestilence. So Endbringer is forced to attack Avenging Guy, and unfortunately, he does have the clash buff. So he gives plus one to Endbringer, killing my Avenging Guy, and he brings back the pestilence, giving minus two to uh, my devious servant. Unfortunately, he forgot. So it's now my turn. So draw for turn. Uh, so I decided to resource another blue and play Kagan to remove his Endbringer. So forgot to send down the clash buff from previous turn. Uh, I threw out the Whistler to deal 2 damage to its contender and draw a card, giving +1/+1 to Kagan from my Awakening ability. So I just passed turn here since I didn't want to attack and leave myself with no blockers with under 10 health, since I'm under 10 health. He uses his Contender's Awakening ability to bring back Death the Dreadful. Uh, he activates the portal, and I take 2 damage, losing 2 more health, and then I draw a card. He also draws a card, and then gives +1/+1 to the Pestilence. So I decided not to block there because I knew that Pestilence would deal more damage, so I blocked it for with the Kagan. And then he just skips out on this turn, passes it on to me. So he's actually within lethal range. I could have actually won this game if I had just closed the portal, but I was super excited that I kind of just forgot. So I resource Avenging Guy here, and took a real long while thinking about this because I knew one of the cards here was Decimation, so I would had to swing with one of the Kagan, one Kagan, and then swing with another uh, big boy. So I set trap here, deciding to pay 4 into Avenging Guy, searching for a Whistler. So deciding to throw the Whistler to draw a card and deal 2 damage, and then passing turn. So I was very confident that I'd be able to survive the next turn because I had 2 Magnate's Trap set up. So even if he attacks with 2 Dreadfuls, I would be able to answer them very easily. I also had 2 blockers, so I was safe from any other attacks. So here he decides to revive the Dreadful using the Awakening ability. He decides to play Pestilence first, giving -2/-2 to my Kagan, and then attacking with Dreadful. He actually forgot to draw a card here from Death and also discard from Magni's Trap. He attacked with he's now attacking with the one cost Pestilence, and I decided to block with Avenging Guy. Yeah. So he forgot to draw and discard in this, but he we just remembered the +1/+1 buff to Pestilence. So my Avenging A dice. So he ends turn, passes on to me. So there's the big misplay. So I had my Kagan. He's down to six. I have Kagan, which is 5/5. So the only thing I had to do here was close the portal and then play my hand. I had nine resources at the time, so I had way enough resources to do all of that. So I'm contemplating a bit on what I should be doing here. So there, I decided to attack with the Kagan first. If this pushes through, I would be able to just throw a accessory and end game. Unfortunately, I attacked with open portal, so he was able to use enter from beyond. So this allowed him to bring back one cost pestilence. That's actually counting his resources right now. If I had closed the portal, that enter he wouldn't have been able to play that. So anyway, so yeah, there. He brings back the one cost pestilence, gives my Kagan -2/-2. Actually plays another one using two resources. Another pestilence, so it's another -2/-2. My Kagan's now down to being a 1/1 and uses one more resource to play a Morak. uh, Goes and searches for Death the Dreadful again. So it takes one. And I was very smug about this too. I just played the Kagan and just use it to banish the Morak and directly swing into face. And unfortunately, the last card he had was Decimation. So it gave my Kagan -6/-6. So that's actually just a proxy for Decimation. So yeah, that could have been a one game. So we kind of had a miscommunication here because I was a start of turn I kind of said that I would concede if I didn't win this turn, but I wanted to play it out since I still had Magnet Strap and he only had 4 damage on the board. So if I was able to Magnet Strap one of the Dreadful, I should have been able to live. I also had Lin as a blocker. I did forget about his contender ability to revive the Dreadful. He actually had two Dreadfuls in hand, so it was lethal either way. So it play one Dreadful, attack, Magnet Trap, discards the Dreadful, place it from Oblivion using contender ability. I block the Pestilence attacks, the other Pestilence attacks, and then Dreadful. And that's game. Yeah. Very unfortunate for me since one simple misplay really costed this match. So yeah, thanks for watching. See you soon.